The Stage Door Show, celebrating the independent artist. With your host, Dave Hondel.
I'm sick of listening to my boss telling me how I am always late and how he wants to fire me. Don't want to hear about how I need to change my ways. Don't want to hear about what you really think of me. This is my life, I'm gonna live it up. Don't waste my time when there's never enough. Don't understand my aggravation, so don't mess with my generation.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Stage Door Show tonight. This is Dave Hondel. So happy to have my guest on tonight. You've seen him in Rookie of the Year, Walt Before Mickey, the American Pie movie franchise, and he's starring in a new series entitled Undeveloped on some of the streaming platforms, and he also has a band called the Thomas Nichloas Band. So let's bring him in right now. So welcome to the show, Thomas Nichloas. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, man, it's our pleasure to have you on, Thomas. And, I know as I spoke about in the intro, you've been in a lot of different, movies like Rookie of the Year and the American Pie franchise and Adverse and some others. And, but I really want to start with your music because I'm so impressed with your music. And, I know you have a seventh album coming up, which I think is amazing. And one of your songs, My Generation, was also featured in American Reunion. So talk about this new album coming up and what we can expect from that, because I think it's amazing.
Yeah, we it's kind of crazy. It's one of those things where I got my first sort of offer on a record deal, only took me 7 albums. Everything else has been DIY, though I haven't signed it yet. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I just know that I was considering working with a few different people to produce it, and my buddy Taylor Carroll, who plays drums for Lit, and he's also the lead singer for
Amazing.
Chemical Fire.
Yep.
He wanted to throw his name into the hat, and I gladly did. We've been talking about writing for a while, and I'd already done some collabs with Jarrett Reddick from Bowling for Soup for the album, and with Ace Enders from the early November, and my best friend Matt Kennedy from The Dangerous Summer. So we went into the studio last week just kind of doing a test run to see how it was going to go. And 6 hours later, we had this song that is probably one of my favorite songs that I've ever written. And I just think this thing's I don't know what it's going to do, but I'm excited for people to hear it. Everyone that's heard it so far has listened to it multiple times in a row because it's just so catchy and feels so good. You are premiering it here.
Yes, we are.
Later in the show or now or whatever you want to play it. But I did press play on it in Chicago just at a live event. I was doing emo night there in conjunction with Riot Fest, and the crowd was into it, man. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm excited to see what this thing's going to do. So I think our plan is to drop the song right around the same time as Blink-182. I didn't plan that, but it's in the same vein, and we're doing I'm doing a couple sideshows for When We Were Young in Vegas at the Brooklyn Bowl. So I was like, let's just launch it around then. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, I know timing's important, but this song to me is timeless. And the song's called Tomorrow's Gonna Hurt, and I listened to it so many times after you sent it to me today. And I just have to tell you, man, your voice is incredible. The vibe of the song is incredible. And I just want my listeners to know that there's more to you than just being a great actor, producer, director. You also have a great musical talent and a great band. And again, you're on your 7th album, which is just incredible to me. So that brings me to my next question. When did music become serious for you? Because I know you were acting at a young age, and was music in that mix as well, and and also was music for you with all the other things that you do and the grind of being producer, director, actor. I mean, is this something that gives you great release creating music?
For me, I started playing guitar when I was about 14. It was a couple years after Rookie of the Year, and right around the time that the grunge scene was huge. I was in junior high school, so that was all I was listening to and what kind of inspired me into it. And I would say the precipice was, when Kurt Cobain died, I watched this kid in my class. He did like a week of silence. And this was a kid he was in a band. So he was like this cool kid, but he was always in trouble. He always had bad grades. He stood for nothing. He didn't care. And then this happened, and he had a week of silence, and he got sent to the principal's office every day. And it was just sort of this realization. I mean, one of those realizations that you get afterward, but I realized looking back that I saw the power of music. And I knew what music meant to me, but I saw that it could affect someone so much. And people are affected by movies, but not the same like they are from music. And from that point forward, I probably played the guitar like 3 hours a day for 2 years from that point forward. And for me, it's something that I've been doing in conjunction. And when people see me play, or they hear my music, they think like, oh, you stopped acting. I'm like, no. They hear that I produced a movie. They're like, oh, so you stopped music and you stopped acting? You're just no. I'm just doing all things that are creative. And I just want to spend my time creating and entertaining and offering an escape to anyone. If my escape works for you, cool. If it doesn't, I hope you find a different way to find your escape and enjoy the art that other people have created.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Thomas, the biggest base of listeners that we have are independent artists themselves. And whenever we have, successful actor, singer, and anybody in, the entertainment world that comes onto our show and, they're self-made, I think it's inspiring to our listeners, and, they give us a lot of feedback after each show. And obviously, marketing is a big deal when it comes to being an indie artist, and, being an actor yourself, obviously doesn't hurt, but at the same time, you still have to market yourself, for people to hear your music and doing shows like this and so forth. But as far as marketing goes, how important is marketing when you're an indie artist, and how did you market yourself?
I mean, I think I'm only probably just realizing that all my efforts toward what I wanted to achieve in music were kind of built on a false promise. And I came to terms with that probably like 5 years ago, but it's really sort of like I'm understanding it more. And what I mean by that is I even just saw like a video from a director saying he thought once he directed like his first big thing, the cavalry was going to come in and like just offer him everything, and his everything was going to be taken care of. You just have a free ride from that point. But the truth of it is that you're your own cavalry. So whatever you're doing to market yourself, it has to be about what you believe in. And so it's not about how well you market yourself, but how much you believe in what you're marketing. Yeah. And so it's not even about, I have no like advice on like how I've done it, because some things have worked, some things didn't. Being my acting career, it helps me sometimes get my foot in the door, but then I've watched, band promoters lean on it too hard, and it doesn't translate to a music audience arriving for the show, and then they're confused, and I'm like, well, yeah, I told you not to like lead with that, because you're just gonna, I don't know, beat people over the head with the wrong stick. And so now I've found a way to kind of point out the elephant in the room, and that's what I did with my 2017, my sixth album. So I guess it's been a while since I've done an album. I did a bunch of singles in between there, so don't think I was like giving up on anything. I did like 9 singles, mainly during the time when we were locked in our own homes.
Right.
But I mean, the touring with the Frat Party album, and again, so that was, I got offered this tour over in the UK, playing universities, and now they don't have fraternities there, so they have what's called Freshers Week.
Oh, okay.
So Freshers Week, are you familiar with it?
No, I'm not actually.
So obviously the drinking age in the UK is 18.
Yeah.
College universities are 18. So our campus is in the States, and in Canada, like there's no bars on the campus. So no one hangs out for the concerts on campus. It's different there. Everybody hangs out on campus because they can drink there.
Right.
And so they wanted me to do this tour for these universities, and the Freshers Week is where the universities say, hey, we want all the freshmen to get an opportunity to hang out for an entire week and get to know one another on a social level. So they get these passes where it's like, $100, and they can go to every event that week, the entire freshman grade. They wanted me to play these things, but they're like, listen, you're going to need to play 70% covers. And I was like, we're not a cover band.
Right.
We're not interested.
Right.
And they said, well, these are legitimate. And when I say legit venues, I mean, they're like decked out to the nines, like trussing, lighting,
Wow,
2,000 cap rooms.
And not a dive bar, right?
Yeah, not a dive bar. They're like the club gig that you like wish you could have as a band.
Right.
And I wished I could have as a band. I looked at these pictures and I was like, 2,000 cap room, guaranteed sold out because it's Freshers Week. I was like, okay, well, do I get to pick my own covers?
Yeah.
And so to make it make sense, I started picking all my favorite songs from the American Pie movies.
Oh yeah.
Thus was born Stifler's mom instead of Stacy's mom.
That was amazing.
And in recent times, I've even gone so far as to record 1999, which is the parody of Bowling for Soup's 1985.
Kevin really wants to score. He can never give sex before. Jim stuck on second base till apple pie replaced. Paul Finch is so refined. Oz the lacrosse guy. Stifler's feeling frail from the pale ale. Vicky wants I love you. Kevin's not so sure. Jeff says that it's just sex, not a launch of the space shuttle. And Jim got nudie mags and condoms from his dad. Sherman ate a ride about doing wild thing all night. After Pearl Jam, Green Day, way before the Coldplay, there was Third Eye, Tonic, Blink 182 was new. These four friends, they just might get laid before their prom night. They're just not satisfied. 1999.
So we tell the story of American Pie in 3 minutes. But the crazy part about that is, I think, and somebody please, if you're seeing this, you hear this, and I'm wrong, and you can think of someone else, please let me know so I stop touting this untruth. But I think, or at least in my mind, I'm the only artist to do a parody of a band, but write it with the band and record it with the band that I'm doing the parody of.
I think you're right. That's amazing, by the way. I have to ask you about the song "My Generation" because I know you've been in all the American Pie franchise movies, but how did you get that song actually in the movie on the soundtrack? What was that process like?
This is kind of like almost apropos, because if you've seen Undeveloped, which is streaming on Tubi and Freevee and Prime, we play producers that are failed producers all forced to work together, and we are failures. I mean, we are practically going to get fired at every turn. There's, nepotism, favoritism, inequality of pay. And it's similar to how when I did my first album, I booked American Pie, and I asked the producers, hey, can I put a song in the soundtrack? They're like, yeah, no problem. But then like the music supervisor cut me off at the pass, and so it didn't happen. And that happened every time I did an album, every time I did an American Pie film. To the point where when I did the last one, I just was like, okay, I'm not asking them for this favor. They're going to tell me yes because they want me to be happy on set. But they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So I got more, and this is something for you DIY artists. The definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yeah.
If you're going out there and you're like recording this song and marketing in this way, and you're not, and you want to achieve something and you're not achieving it, you got to flip the script.
Yeah.
So what I did was I was like, okay, that's not working. I've done it for 3 films. It's not working. I can't ask for the favor. So I was like finding out when the rap party was going to be. So I said, hey, where's the rap party venue? They're like, oh, we don't know. So I found a venue that was close by where everyone was staying, and it had a stage on the third level or the upstairs. And so I was like, I kind of like finagled into like, I'm going to book a gig maybe on the same night as the rap party.
Yeah.
And then as it turned out, they didn't have a venue and they liked the venue that I showed them. So then they booked that venue where I was already booked to play the same night. So I was like, yes. So I played a show for the whole cast and crew. And when I went to the bar to get a drink, one of the directors came up to me. It was Hayden. And he goes,
yeah,
oh man, you're actually like pretty good. You know, my joke is he told me I didn't suck. So he's like, he's like, do you think you could do like a cover of a song for the soundtrack? Like, could you do a cover of Lit?
Yeah.
If we wanted your band to do it. And I knew what that meant. That basically meant, oh, in case Lit's too expensive for the master use license, you want to pay me less money. But I was like, I'm down. I can cover Lit.
Yeah.
And so I did a cover. I recorded a cover of James' band Laid. And so I like pitched that to them. And then I was like, okay, just let me know. They're like, oh, we're going to go with the original. I'm like, just let me know what you want me to do. I could do anything. And then they picked My Generation off of my like self-titled EP. And they put it in the bar scene when Stifler sticks his fingers in my mouth.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And I was like, oh, wow. They went from asking for a cover to asking for one of my originals. And then they put it on the soundtrack album. So
very cool. Wow.
It was, 13 years coming, but I didn't give up on it.
I love that story. I also want to talk about Undeveloped. You spoke about that a little while ago, but I went on to Tubi and watched it, and I just amazing. I love it. I'm a huge fan of The Office, and although it's more unique than The Office, a little bit different, but it's still in the same vein where you follow your coworkers around, and there's maybe a leader that shouldn't be a leader, and just a great production. I really enjoyed it. I also understand that the production received a waiver from SAG-AFTRA because the production was actually paying the actors what is being asked for in the strike. Am I right about that?
No, you're correct. We agreed to all of SAG's terms that they didn't get from the AMPTP in order to move forward and release during the strike. And obviously, yeah, we're very, very thankful that the show was able to come out. And while the strike is happening, and I side with all the actors, we clearly don't want to also destroy entertainment industry in the process of getting the people that are working fair wages. And I think this is kind of like a more of a, corporate versus workers and all facets of in every industry, not just the entertainment industry. I think we're the only ones that are getting all the publicity.
Right.
But this is happening, across the board where life's more expensive and, people aren't being paid enough to pay for life that's more expensive.
Exactly. And just to our listeners, I know a lot of struggling actors and singers out there, and, a lot of people suffering right now and because of the strike. I just think that if a production like, Undeveloped can take care of their actors and crew, I think that other productions can as well. I think it's great that your show is taking care of people like that, and it makes it plausible for other productions to do the same. So I think everybody should just get back to the table and see if we can end this thing sooner than later.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously I would like this thing to just be over with and everyone to kind of come to the table. That would be awesome, but. It's kind of apropos that we would have a show come out that's making fun of the industry while the industry is in its greatest turmoil. Like the irony is not lost on me.
Well, Brian A. Metcalf, the creator of the show, and of course yourself, Tom Arnold, David Koechner, Kelly Arjun. I mean, there's a lot of great people in this cast. And, like I said, I went on to Tubi and I watched the show. I really enjoy it. I'm looking forward to the success of the show and looking forward to, multiple seasons to come out.
Yeah, well, the first season is 6 episodes in total. So I think there's 4 on Tubi right now. And just the pilots on Freevee and Prime. And just for anyone that's like going, well, I don't know about like watching an industry thing. It's not just for like people in the industry. It's not inside baseball. once you see these characters going through what they're going through, it's more about the characters and their struggles and poking fun at the things that exist in all workplaces. So it's more of a workplace comedy, like The Office. I mean, look, did you understand anything about selling paper? No, but The Office was still funny.
Yeah. I think, the show is just very relatable. I think we can all relate to, having coworkers that, we don't always get along with. And, I love the cast. I'm a huge fan of David Koechner. I've always liked his work, and of course yours, and everybody on the cast. I think it was well done.
Episode 2, my son is in the show playing Tom Arnold's son.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's your son. Okay.
Yeah. So he's kind of following in my footsteps. Nolan River is his name. He starred in M. Night's last movie, Old, they shot in the Dominican Republic. He's the main kid on that movie.
Really?
On the beach. They all get old. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. And also as a child actor yourself growing up, did you ever imagine that your career would be where it is right now and having the success that you've had over the years?
I mean, my whole thing and why I started in the first place is I just love the moments of being on set and creating. Yeah. And so that's the thing that always keeps me in and draws me back. So I didn't know that, that all these other things would happen or there would be success or any kind of recognition for that. The only thing I can ever think about, and I still think about, is how do I get back to the set again? And it's kind of like working on this album with Taylor. I just love getting into the studio and, coming out with a song. And so, I just love the process of creating is my driving force always.
Hey, it's Dave from The Stage Door Show. Have you ever wanted a digital business card that would speak for you? Well, let me introduce you to TalkingVCard. Imagine this, a business card that doesn't just sit in somebody's wallet, but actively introduces you, shares your latest work, or even a special message. That's what TalkingVCard is all about. It's modern, environmentally friendly, and has been an absolute game changer for networking in this digital age. Now here's the most exciting part. For a limited time, you can get lifetime ownership of your very own TalkingVCard for only $99. Plus, to ensure you're maximizing its potential, they're offering a free consultation to help supercharge your brand. As many of you know, TalkingVCard is a proud VIP sponsor of our show, and I've been using it personally. The feedback has been absolutely amazing. For everyone tuned in right now, if you're looking to make a lasting impression and elevate your brand, I genuinely recommend giving TalkingVCard a try. There's a unique link on our show notes that'll take you straight there. And remember, maybe the next voice somebody hears from a digital card will be yours. Stay creative and stay connected. TalkingVCard. And before we go, Thomas, I'm going to ask you a question that I ask everybody. And do you know what I'm going to ask you?
No, I don't know. I feel the pressure of having a good answer compared to your other guests.
Okay. All right. Well, here we go. When it's all said and done, in the twilight of your career, years down the road, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want people to think of when they think of Thomas Nichloas?
My goal as an actor has always been to be a character lead, to lose myself so much into the role that I'm not distracting from the story, that to the point where, and probably sometimes to my own detriment, have I worked toward achieving this to the point where people are still figuring out that I'm the same actor from this job and that job. But that's my legacy, I think, would just be versatility and ultimately just the escape of entertainment. I mean, I know that sounds like a broad stroke, but I sacrifice a lot in my life, like from, missing events or birthdays or this, that, and the other, but for the sake of providing that entertainment. So I don't, doing that is its own thank you. So I don't need to be like thanked for that, but that's just what I live for. So but I guess from a legacy standpoint, it would be versatility from, playing different characters that, you're figuring out we're the same person, or that was me, or the music and the producing, like just, Renaissance.
Yeah, that makes complete sense, and it's well said. So thank you so much, Thomas, for taking the time to join us on the Stage Door Show tonight. Really our pleasure to have you on, and nothing but continued success for your future. And now we want to play your world premiere of Tomorrow's Gonna Hurt.
And thank you so much for premiering it. And it'll, like I said, it'll be out not for another month, so you're getting it a whole month early.
And thank you again for letting us premiere this for you. And that's Thomas Nichloas, and here is Tomorrow's Gonna Hurt.
Slept too late, I was on my way. Got the call from work not to come today. All the bills stacked up, I forgot to pay. But my Venmo's got some money saved. Yeah, I'm aware life is not fair. I just don't care right now. Be a late night, good time, cloud nine, bad sign. Running from my real life, just running from my real life. I should go home, cause I know where this goes, but I'll stay for one more. Here we go. Tomorrow's gonna hurt. Tomorrow's gonna hurt. All my friends just left, I don't have a ride. I can't text cause I left my phone inside. And I don't wanna come down, I wanna stay out. I don't wanna leave now, I wanna last round. I don't even know how, but there's no doubt I'm gonna be in pain. It's gonna be a late night, good time, cloud nine, bad sign. Running from my real life, just running from my real life. I should go home, cause I know where this goes, but I'll stay for one more. Here we go. Tomorrow's gonna hurt. Tomorrow's gonna hurt. Yeah, I'm aware life is not fair. I just don't care right now. It's gonna be a